Yeah. Gonna get everyone checked in. Looks like we have Troy McAndrews here. Troy, if you could unmute and tell me uh, your role in the hearing today. I believe we have you listed as an applicant or an owner on the project. Is that right? You're muted. Mr. McAndrews, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. I said I'm having a hard time hearing you. The volume, I think, is really low.
Wes, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. It's a little bit lower than I'm used to, like from what, like last hearing was also a little lower. I don't know, something going on, but.
I can hear Wes perfectly. Just David, you're a little lower.
How's that? Is that any better?
Yeah.
A little better.
A little better there. Okay. I'll
Yeah,
just try and turn it up though as much as possible.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So Troy, you're the applicant on the project, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you expecting anyone else to join us on the applicant owner side here?
No.
All right. And we have Wes Menzel from the zoning department with us as well. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I need to read through our hearing script. This will cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump into it. So this is the April 3rd, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Serkey. Again, I'll be presiding over the hearing. Case before us today is case number ZH20240022. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any potential opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I will also hear from the zoning department at West Menzel to provide any testimony regarding the application. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to the application, the applicant will have the opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I will do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there is some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do here is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony, if you could raise your right hand, I need you to answer out loud. You solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Mr. McAndrews, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right, floor is yours.
What we're doing here is we're expanding our patio space to the right side of our building. We affectionately call it the turf area. It's in front of the garage between Wasson Avenue, the garage, and our building to the left. R.P. Murphy's bar is to the right. It's a little over 800 square foot of expanded patio space. We feel like there's a good buffer to the north from the residential area with the detached garage there. We're mimicking the same operational hours as the other patio space that we have to the north, which is the other patio space is closer to the residential area. We submitted the layout, the floor plan of the area. We have been using this area since COVID, and that was our outdoor dining area. So we've been using it for about 4 years without any complaints. Seems very favorable in the neighborhood, great response. So we're just trying to make this now a permitted, legitimate use of an expanded patio space out there. It does have a fence in front of it between the patio space and the sidewalk on Wasson. Once again, the entertainment for the TV and music will be hours will be identical to our existing patio, and the usable hours will be identical to the existing patio as well.
Those are what are those again?
It's till midnight Friday and Saturday until 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. for the audio, and until 12 o'clock during the week, using the space at 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday to use the space with no live music.
Okay, anything else?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay. And you said that this space has been in use since 2020, is that right?
Correct.
And it's been the same size and configuration and everything?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you know how close the closest residence is to this space, either on the north or the south?
On the north, it would be approximately 25 feet. The other side of the detached garage. Our existing patio is just a brick wall, and they're on the other side of the brick wall of our existing patio to the property line. And that's a multifamily house that's owned by the owners of RP Murphy's as a rental. And the people behind that house is a good friend of mine who is very supportive of what we're doing. On the south side, we have Wasson Road, which is a 2-lane road, followed by the walking trail and the buffers on both sides of the walking trail. And then homes on the other side, which were commercial up till a year ago, and they built 2 homes there that was used to be owned by the railroad company. So very recently.
Okay. And you said buffers on each side of the trail. Is there?
There's like the green, the grass area buffers. There's not like a wall of anything. They do have a white vinyl fence between the trail and the residential homes.
Okay. As I recall, were you a part of the application? Was it 4 years ago for the rear patio?
Yes.
The last time? Okay. There seemed to be quite a bit of public opposition at the previous hearing. You're telling me that there's been no complaints or no word from any of those folks that were opposed since you've installed this patio or the other one?
Not that we know of. I think with a lot of it is we have one woman in particular who I think she should have nicknamed the constant complainer, who lived across the way from us, and she stirred up some crowd over on Columbus Avenue. She has since moved on. The people that built the new residential homes kind of serve as a buffer also on the other side of Lawson. The one family was a school with my kids. They moved there because they like going there. So they knew what they were getting into. That kind of blocks something to the Columbus Avenue. At that time, when we were expanding the patio also, we were kind of just redeveloped the bar. And there were a couple of people in the street that thought that they were going to try to shut us down by not letting us have that patio space. And some people act like they didn't want the bar and restaurant in the neighborhood, which is a very small handful of people. And that's why we got so much resistance from at that time. But we're very family friendly. People up there with their strollers, their kids, their dogs, and a lot of people walk up there from the street. So and everyone got their mailer. And we haven't heard anything. No one came to the community council meeting or anything else.
Okay. I was gonna ask, did you present this to the community council?
I did, and I sent the letter, and that was, I believe Wes put that up there, so it was approved, I think 9-0 in favor.
Gotcha. Okay, so the Oakley Community Council was in unanimous support.
Yes.
Okay. Was there any presentation to the Hyde Park Neighborhood Council?
No, we don't. The Hyde Park and Oakley Community Councils don't really get along.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, I think the majority of people that were opposed to this were, because Wasson's sort of the cutoff, right?
It is. It's like right down the middle of the street.
Yeah, so I think it was mostly people on the other side of Wasson that were opposed, but okay. Anything else you wanted to say before I give Wes a chance to chime in here?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, great. Wes?
Good afternoon. Yeah, I don't know of any opposing comments as well about this one. But yeah, I think they got their original outdoor dining as a temporary one via COVID that 4 years ago, as you mentioned. And then they also benefit from the Oakley parking overlay, which was recently adopted. So there's no parking requirement for the new space, nor for the 2 apartments above that used to park where the new space is. So there used to be a driveway. But yeah, I don't have
That's
any,
all of Oakley, the parking overlay, Wes?
not the entire village or neighborhood, but certain areas of the neighborhood were designated the urban parking overlay.
Mhm.
Or no, and then, but this is one of those areas, along with, like, the Oakley Square area. I can't remember the other areas, but there's several areas.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, we didn't find any, minimal adverse impacts. Obviously, if the abutting houses to the north, it'd be the most directly impacted. But it sounds like they're pretty responsible with turning off their TVs and music at the 2 hours before the closing time is what they've proposed. Does that work well for you, Mr. McAndrews? Like, you're able to do that consistently? And
We do it consistently. We, of course, like it to go to the full hours. Our people Murphy's, our neighbors, is grandfathered in, so they have full hours for theirs. So it kind of handicaps us sometimes when there's late game, we have to turn ours off, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And we did with the parking overlay, the way we kind of look at it too is there were 2 parking spots in that driveway, even though we don't need the parking, but we have a fence across that parking lot. So now the curb cut was a double wide driveway. So really those 2 spots went from the driveway to Lawson because people just park in front of the curb cut now. So it's really a neutral parking situation.
Oh, you're saying you gained a spot on the street because of the,
2 spots because it was a double wide curb cut. So it's a wide driveway, which is now the proposed patio space. So it can hold 2 cars. So really those 2 driveway spots just transferred to Lawson. So parking's a neutral regardless of the overlay.
yeah. I mean, we're recommending approval. I mean, just the parking, I think, was an issue before, that with people parking up on the residential streets, and a lot of people walk to the place instead of driving, but just, anecdotally, that might still be a problem later on, but at this point, there's no, complaints about it. So we recommended approval. Thanks.
Thanks, Wes. All right. What kind of audiovisual equipment do you have outside for this space and the rear patio?
The existing rear patio has 4 TVs and I believe 5 small speakers. All the speakers are aimed towards the building. So the back end of the speakers towards the house, all the noise is directed to the building away from residential. And then the patio space would have 3 TVs and probably 3 or 4 speakers of the same size. We once again aim those towards the building so it doesn't echo into the neighborhood. I live 13 doors away from it, so if I hear it, I'm going to hear it from my wife and all my neighbors. I live in Hyde Park Avenue, 8 doors down from Lawson, so it's very much in tune with what's going on in the neighborhood. I don't want to make the neighbors mad because I live next to them.
Yeah, right. Okay, here, let me just share the screen real quick. So like generally looking at this, speakers are located like in the corners or?
Right now, the speakers and the TVs are inside the garage doors.
Okay.
That's where they're located. We'd probably, if you get this approved, probably move a speaker out to put in the landscaping bed on the right side, so we get a little more surround sound.
Mm-hmm.
And we're considering putting a TV on the brick wall on the left side.
Okay, got it.
That way, just kind of area out, and that'd be it.
Yeah. Okay. That's all the questions that I have. Anything else you want to say in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
No, I just appreciate your guys' time. It's been for the last 4 years, it's been very well received in the neighborhood. And like I said, I haven't had any complaints. We get a lot of people walking from all the residential streets. That's why people live in Oakley, is to walk to places like this with their families and their dogs. And kind of per the Oakley master plan, this is what we want. just to have walkable areas, walkable neighborhood. That's what we support, and that's why parking really isn't an issue there. We do fantastic business, but we have a lot of people that walk in the neighborhood. We support the neighborhood, we support the local schools and all that kind of good stuff. So we're hoping to expand a little bit more and grab some more tax base for everyone and employ some more people.
Great. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate your testimony. I think that I would like to, I mean, I used to live on Shaw, so I was, over this area every single day. That was a long time ago. I don't think I've been back. What's that?
You used to be a little different back when my bar hopping days and probably yours compared to what
Yeah. They demoed my drive-through on Shaw. Now it's
that broke my heart. That was my
the
spot.
big development. Yeah, that was a nice to come home and just hit the drive-through. But I haven't been over here in a long time is what I was trying to say. So I'd like to just do a quick site visit. It's just going to be a drive by for this. I am inclined to approve the application. My biggest concern is I think the same as it was 4 years ago is just trying to make sure that adverse sonic impacts are mitigated to the greatest extent possible. And I appreciate you being a neighbor in the area and from all seemingly also a responsible bar owner. This does run, as you mentioned, with RP Murphy's being grandfathered. This does sort of run with the property. So if you were ever to sell this to a less responsible owner, they would have the same permissions. And so I'd like to try to put some guardrails on that. Having said that, I'm also a sports fan, and having to turn off the game in the fourth quarter is not something that I would be happy about if I were a patron. So I'll be sure to tailor it to sound as much as possible, and just trying again to mitigate any late night adverse sonic impacts, and try and thread that needle a little bit. I think what's already on the books is probably reasonable, although I may make a distinction to allow TVs on with no sound or something like that. But that's sort of where my head's at right now. As you know, I need to put this all in a written decision. As soon as I finish that decision, I'll put it in a PDF and email it to you. Any conditions of approval will be listed in that, and the basis for them will also be listed in that and explained. And so, yeah, any questions about anything or anything else you want to say in light of my comments?
No, I think everything you're saying is very reasonable. If you have any questions and you drive by, let me know. If there's anything else we can do to make things easier for you or something you think that could help something out. But I think, like you said, we're a very responsible neighbor as is, and we don't ever plan on selling it. My kids are 11 and 8, and their goal is to run this bar in our other restaurant also. And that's where their head's at. It's a family business. My brother and I own it, just 2 of us exclusively. So it's not like another bar conglomerate where there's 12 owners. It's just the 2 of us, and we plan on owning this for generations to come.
Great, that's awesome. Cool. Well, I appreciate that. And as I said at the beginning, I will, it typically takes about 2 weeks. I'll do everything I can to sort of get that out to you as quickly as possible. I have been running a little bit behind the last few weeks, but I think I've hit a point where I'm going to be able to play some catch up. So look for that in about 2 weeks. Like I said, I'll email it to you. You'll have it really just right after it's done. And then hopefully, and then Wes can approve the permitting on his end, and hopefully you guys can move forward.
Great, I appreciate it.
Or stay exactly, or stay how it is. But yeah, if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out, or if you want a status update on the decision, let me know. Otherwise, that's it. Hope you have a good day and good luck with the project in the bar.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys' help.
Okay, no problem. We're adjourned. Bye, everyone.